Yourself, Justine?
You're up.
Oh.
Okay, our topic was child abuse, and we're going to tell you about child abuse today. Approximately 5 children die every day because of child abuse. 1 out of 3 girls and 1 out of 5 boys will be sexually abused before they reach age 18. 90% of child sexual abuse victims know the perpetrator in some way. 68% are abused by a family member. In 2012, 82.2% of child abuse perpetrators were found to be between the age of 18 to 44, of which 39.6 were recorded to be between the ages of 25 to 34. In the United States, more than 4 children die from child abuse and neglect on a daily basis. Over 70% of these children are now below the age of 3.
48.5% of boys and 51.2% of girls become victims at nearly the same rate. 2.9 million cases of child abuse were reported every year in the United States. Children who experience child abuse and neglect are 59% more likely to get arrested. 14% of all men and 36% of all women in prison were abused as children. Abused children are not likely to practice safe sex, putting them at greater risk of an STD, and they're also 25% more likely to experience teen pregnancy. Interesting.
Okay, and down here we have a chart that is the ethnicity. The top group to be abused is African Americans, then it goes to the American Indians, and then multiple race, Hispanics, whites, and then Asian. We'll take a look at that.
I didn't really do much deep, in-depth research about why if you're African American, why you're more likely to get abused as a child, but I don't know. And then a lot of people like to confuse simple discipline and child abuse. Discipline is when your child they do something wrong, and then the child does not fear the parent, and they know what will set the parent off. And when a child is abused, they don't know what's going to set their parent off. So you could basically say hi, and you'd probably get whacked. I don't know. But yeah.
And that's our presentation.
Can I sit down now?
No, you can't. All really good statistics, I'd love to know where they came from. So when you do an oral presentation like that, you need to kind of say according to those kinds of things.
Okay.
Because you could just be spouting information from, the world of Timmy. So we want to know where that comes from. I'm still not 100% certain what the social issue is.
Getting beat.
Why is that a social issue?
Because then those kids walk around with big whips and bruises and stuff on them. And they're not from...
And this is going to sound really harsh, and remember I'm
You're
talking
you.
a little bit.
Okay.
So what?
Fair enough. Okay.
So why is it a social issue? Why do we care that Bobby is running around being beaten by his parents?
Because it was on the board?
It was on the board, which is why you now need to determine why it's a social issue.
Excuse me.
Talk to each other for a second or so. Come back.
Why is it a social issue?
Good question. Mrs. Schneider, what's the answer? She knows, she just won't
Yeah,
tell
I
us.
know. She's like that. It's like that now.
Why does the rest of the world care?
Hold on.
All right.
Okay.
The rest of you should be thinking about that a little bit in your presentation. That's the point of this, right? Is you getting across why this is a social issue, right?
Yep.
Because it's a big problem in society.
Correct. Why?
Because you
It goes
shouldn't
against the law.
go around beating your
So
child.
speeding and running through stop signs, but I'm
Beating
going
your
to take
kids
a
is
real quick
worse.
survey that most of us do it.
Yeah.
Why is it a social issue? Why do we care?
Because it's not right to beat your child with a stick.
Right, so what?
Because it's wrong.
It
It is.
It is opposed by a considerable number of individuals within a society.
So is eating meat.
It is?
Yes.
Oh, well, shoot.
What is the effect, let me ask it this way, what is the effect on us as citizens? And you guys can talk to each other about that. Do you want to sit and figure it out?
No.
How about we just sit?
I'm gonna get done now.
Well, figure it out.
Oh, time's up.
Yeah,
No, that's the calendar.
Oh, shoot.
They got really excited.
In order for it to be a social issue, it has to affect more than just the individual who is
It
being affected.
affects a lot of kids.
It is, so what?
Because they're not gonna know, I don't know. It's almost like they're not being loved. I mean, my parents don't beat me, but I don't know. Like, I can't really speak for the children being abused because I'm not abused.
How does Bobby, who is beat regularly by his folks who live down the road, affecting us in society?
He's more likely to be depressed. And
Which then leads to what?
Okay, I got this. Child abuse leads to mental illness, which means little Bobby's gonna come in here with a gun, and he's gonna come in here and just
he's
blast
gonna start
all
shooting us up.
It's
Then we're all gonna be dead.
A little more specific than I was looking for. So
Well, there you
generalize
go.
that a little bit more. How does it affect society if we have an entire generation of children who are beaten?
Because they could all get together in this one group and create a little gang called the Child Abused, and like go in the White House and start shooting at them.
Are there?
They're more prone to
I love
violence.
your generation that everybody goes to a mass shooting. Is there? Are there any other results other than a mass shooting that could affect us?
Teen pregnancy.
You all could be pregnant today, and I'll be honest with you, it's not going to affect me in the least.
I couldn't be pregnant.
Well,
I hope not.
Unless we left the baby on your doorstep.
you could, yes. It's still not going to affect me.
Okay, I'll
So-
have a store and drop it off in the chimney.
So who thinks they can help these guys here? Go ahead.
Cooper.
It leads to like mental abuse, which, like they said, it leads to a lot of them in prison. So they can break a lot of laws, I guess, and other people could be mentally affected. So they would be out of other people, I guess.
Good.
Oh, good.
Anybody else want to add to this?
Bobby could be the next president.
He could be. So what?
Being beaten could affect not us having not a new president one day.
Okay, cool. Do you see how you need to make that connection just to go a bigger
Yeah.
area? All right, Joseph, I'll let you off the hook because you were the first one, guys, and you volunteers. Yay.
Oh wait, what am I doing?
Can we get
Sydney, you can give that toggle to anyone you choose.
Okay.
That's an evil look, isn't it?
No, Allie, come
Do
here.
it. Yeah, so's Cooper.
Come here,
They should
little.
be ready.
Come here. Come here, little Allie.
It's just informal. Remember, this is just your first. This is just a test out. So,
Pass it. I'll even put it around your neck.
who's your partner in crime, Cooper? Is it Tucker? Yeah, I know Tucker's not here.
I didn't have one.
He wasn't here the other day.
Oh, did you email me? Get your assignment? No, you sent me a cool Gatsby picture. That was cool. Who was Tucker hooked up with?
Justine.
I wondered. All right, Allie. Delaney will have to do this as well. She'll just do it in a different way, right?
I guess. Okay, so what me and Delaney went over is, or what we were dealing with was rape, and rape can like affect people many different ways. Like it just depends on the point of view, and what we more dealt with was rape can affect the person, like the mental health, because it could lead to many different sorts of things as like depression, or even sometimes people end up going resorting to suicide and stuff like that. And so most people ask is rape depending more on how much skin a person's showing or how much clothing that they're wearing. It just depends, because sometimes people who are wearing a crop top and short shorts that show their butt can be raped, and people who are also wearing sweatpants and a baggy sweatshirt can also be raped. But it depends. It's not really the victim's fault on why they get raped. It could also be the person who is doing the rape, because it could be more their fault too. It just depends on who, how the people are and whatever. And not the victim. Not every victim that is being raped is asking for it or whatever. And that's all that I have.
What's the debate?
The debate is, hold on. The debate is, is every rape caused by how much skin a person is showing?
Interesting. So, in your social issue, are you trying to, because I just want to understand you correctly, your whole thing surrounds a person who's raped, depends on what they're wearing or what they're not wearing?
Yeah, because there are some people out there that, people who are doing the rape, think it's the victim's fault because of what they're wearing.
Okay. And why is this a social issue?
Because if it affects everyone, who is being raped, and I don't know.
Is it tough to figure out what the social issue is here? What the argument is? How it affects other people? Come on, guys. Cooper thinks he wants to help you. I didn't hear what he said.
He said that it's the same as child abuse. It affects you mentally.
Interesting. All right, Miss Allie. You can pick somebody.
Hi, Justine.
She's alone, kiddo. And you're a partner in crime with Sucker.
Yes.
Our topic was terrorists, and we went with a smaller group than just terrorists. We went down to the ISIS terrorists. Our debate was, is ISIS a terrorist group? According to foreignaffairs.com, it is not a group, but it is an organization. ISIS has lots of money, members, and support, therefore it is an organization, not a group. In order to be a group, they would have to be small with little to no money or support. ISIS was not a threat to the U.S., but now we have stopped minding our own business and there are more attacks. ISIS claims to have fighters from the UK, France, Germany, and other European countries, as well as the U.S., the Arab world, and the Caucasus. Unlike the other rebel groups in Syria, ISIS is seen to be working towards an Islamic emirate that straddles Syria and Iraq. ISIS's original aim was to establish a caliphate in the Sunni majority regions of Iraq. Caliphate is a form of Islamic government led by caliph. A caliph is a person considered a political and religious successor to the Prophet Muhammad and a leader of the entire Muslim community.
Okay. I'll put you on the spot here, and you're alone, so I apologize. Do you know what you just read?
Not really.
Which is part of it, right?
Yeah.
Does anybody here know what a caliphate is? I know she defined it for you. Do you know yet? I didn't until I started watching Tyrant here, and now I know what that is. So, it is a very good show, yes. So why is this a social issue, kiddo?
It affects everyone in the long run. Like,
Yeah, that's the definition of a social issue. Tell me how it affects everyone in the long run. And hold that thought, you get a chance to think for a second, right? No, it's good. It's good. Okay, now let's go. It's one of my favorites of all time.
Oh, jeez.
Okay. What is a Scooby-Doo snack other than the generalized social term?
They're literal Scooby snacks.
Graham crackers, big like little bones. They're actually.
I found smiling potatoes in the grocery store the other day.
I bought them the other day.
Did
at the
you?
grocery store. Are they better than the
Are you really? I didn't know. All right. Awesome. Thank you, young man. All right.
Bye, Jamin. Have a good day. Bye, Jamin.
Yep, we're in bio today.
Hey, Jamin.
Yeah.
They said goodbye to me.
We're in bio today, so I forgot carrots. Okay, cool. Yeah. It's for the lab we're doing today. It's part of it. Carrots. We're gonna cut in half. And then we're gonna look at the inside. All those parts of the plant that you've been dealing with, that you've been identifying, we can find all those in the carrot. All right, you go work. All right, back to the question.
my example, I know this wasn't like ISIS, but my example is when the Twin Towers were taken down, it affected basically everyone in the U.S. because they killed like thousands of people. And everyone in that area that had like people in the buildings was affected, and then like the whole U.S. was affected, and like everyone was depressed.
Everyone was depressed. You guys are too young. How old were you when the Twin Towers went down? You were 2
2.
years old. 3, 4, around that area. I don't know what it was like in Sweden. What was it like over there? You didn't even know. Do they even talk about it yet today?
Yeah.
Do you learn about it in school? Yeah. This new movie that's out, the football movie where everybody in town starts to praise the Lord and get together religiously. What's the name? Woodlawn, right?
Wood something.
Wood something, right?
Woodland, maybe?
That was I think it says it's around the 1970s, isn't it?
I don't know.
Okay, November's going to look that up for us. So right after the Twin Towers went down, what do you think society was like?
I don't know.
We were Bible thumping like nobody's business. All of a sudden, everybody in the world was Christian. And everybody in the world was going to church, and we were all holding hands, and we were all really nice to each other. Is that mentality still around today? So what happened right after that social issue, the Twin Towers? What happened right after that?
Something bad happens, I think it's things that people, I don't know how to describe it. It makes sense in my head, but I can't.
Yeah. I mean, it changes everybody, right? Is it a permanent change? Okay, so ISIS, terrorists, do you think 20 years from now, do you think that social issue is still going to be affecting you?
Probably not as much as it is today. It might still be around, but probably not as bad.
That's something I want you guys to keep track of. What year did that take place?
It doesn't say.
No.
But it's Woodlawn.
Woodlawn.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. It's a true story.
That's one where they all put that in.
Right, right. And the
Okay.
coach decides to, and then he gets caught up in the whole
Okay.
political arena. I remember the cover of the Time magazine, if you've seen the
Oh,
trailers
in
for that movie.
1973.
73. I remember that Time magazine cover. Why did you center on ISIS?
It's something that's going on like right now, and they're on the news like all the time, so we figured we'd go with ISIS.
Does ISIS affect you directly?
No.
I was gonna say, does anybody want to disagree with her?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, not too long ago, our oil prices went down because they could go over to peak oil, like refinery type thing, that's why oil prices went down.
I was gonna say, diesel, the price of diesel right now and all of that is a direct result of all of this. Yeah, way down. Diesel hasn't, we figured it out the other night, 2007 was the last time that diesel was lower than gas.
Lower than gas?
Yes.
Diesel's about two.
It's really cheap.
They just, they contracted propane the other night at the board meeting for 85 cents a gallon, which it hasn't been that low since I moved to Armor, and that was 20 years ago. So,
I say when my dad was
I thought
younger,
it
he
was
barely
diesel.
remembers that.
Alright.
And flat, I can't remember what year it was, but it was in the radio. But it was 67 cents a gallon for gas.
oh heavens, I paid 70 some cents when I was in high school and felt absolutely guilty that I was charging it to my dad, which I told him now I want the difference. So, all right.
I got mad that the gas was only like.
Oh, yeah. We used to travel everywhere, and now we don't. All right, kiddo, pick somebody. Looks like you're going November.
Have fun.
We love it when people pick November.
We don't.
How was PSAT yesterday, ladies?
What?
It sucked. Why?
I like tests.
It's good practice.
It's long.
I do, it was just late.
You start.
Yeah, it was just practice.
Can you still see it?
Yeah.
All right, ladies.
Do you want to start?
No.
So our topic is on drugs, and the debate is whether or not to legalize drugs. Are we going to start with their side of the story?
Doesn't
You
matter.
can do anything you want to.
Yeah.
November.
Oh, okay. Well, some people think that we should legalize a drug of marijuana because it helps people with their pain, like with cancer. And hold up. And they also say that marijuana has never actually killed anyone before, so there's no reason to not legalize it in a way. Maybe now you can talk to
And some debate that it's an all natural painkiller and that it's your body and your own choice and stuff like that. And some reasons Oh, yeah. Not to legalize it is because we still don't know the long terms, like with our brains and stuff. And if it's legal, it's easier it's easier to get a hold of, and it's easier for kids to get a hold of it, and teenagers. And kids or young teenagers who use drugs are more likely to become criminals, which affects the society. Like they shoot someone or something, it affects that person and all his family, and that person can go to prison maybe, and it's cost money for the taxpayers.
Are you done now? Okay, we're done.
Big problem with not citing your sources. I would beg to differ that nobody's ever died from marijuana.
Yeah, I don't know. It was in the thing.
Yeah.
I looked it up and no one did. They said you have to consume 20,000 to 40,000 amount of THC in 1 month.
Right, but the implication of what she's saying says that it doesn't cause death.
No, I said it's never caused death before.
Just smoking it. You're probably going to want to inhale, not inhale. You should inhale it, November. You're probably going to want to specify that in your presentation. Interesting. And again, we get back to shooting.
It's a good example, okay?
And actually, marijuana does not really make you do stupid stuff. It's just really seem to know.
I really beg to differ.
Oh, well, yeah, I have an ex that was a complete pot smoker. Oh, God. Like, he never did anything when he smoked. He just lay there. And then he'd laugh because of his
Joseph, you're being recorded. No, it really isn't.
Are we dead now?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good job.
Who is the lab? Is that it?
No,
Oh, you're right. There you go. Good call.
I suppose. Okay, our presentation is on racism. Racism is a very big problem in our society. It started how long ago when, you know, people had slaves and everything, the difference between whites and blacks and all that. Racism is pretty much more about, you know, it specifies about people about their color. Like, we think that blacks don't deserve certain things or certain rights because they're black, because of their skin color. And honestly, I do feel that we have gotten a little bit better with racism nowadays because that most of us do accept blacks or different colored people more, but it is still a big issue in our society.
There will be a lot of times, but one problem with racism is there will be a lot of times when people hear about a criminal act, like, for example, a good one would be Ferguson. If there's a shooting and there's a black person involved, they usually are more pointing towards the black person than they are the white person just because of his color and because of their history they've had. Statistics on what could happen between blacks and white criminals, most of the time blacks or maybe Hispanics, and no offense to natives, they could also have more chance than white people. Another thing would be people just have a hard time accepting it. They grow up, a lot of older people have grown up through, like Martin Luther King trying to trying to convince everybody that blacks are just as equal as whites. And people just don't really want to accept that and say blacks are totally different, or a totally different kind of person than whites are. And basically the one answer to all of this is there shouldn't be any racism. We're all people, so we should all be equal.
Exactly. Interesting. Why more chance than Caucasian to commit wrongdoing?
Based on their history of
Based on their history?
blacks'
based on
history, like blacks' history, like how they've always seemed to, how they were treated, so they're probably trying to, I don't know what they're trying to get us back, I guess.
Interesting. How did you refer to people the entire way through?
What do you mean?
Anybody figure that out? Their last statement was that we shouldn't have racism. Everybody should be treated equally. We're all just people. Yet, how do we still refer to those people? Us people, them people.
Black, white.
Black, white, natives, right?
And actually, I was thinking about going to get Keegan and doing a pretty good example of racism.
What was?
Well, like, okay, because like I was,
That would have ended nowhere good, I was thinking.
well, like I was gonna like go get Keegan and like have him like stand in here, and then we'd like present, and then like I'd say something mean to Keegan, and then see what he did, just to like be an example of being racist or something. But like
Interesting.
I'm not though. I
Define
promise.
equal for
Same,
me. Same?
no difference,
Can that occur?
possibly.
All right, so why again does this affect me? I'm going to play my 90-year-old grandmother here. Actually, I'm playing my 90-year-old grandfather. Grandma wasn't. Grandfather was. So my grandfather would make some sort of an inane comment along the lines of, as long as we keep them in their own parts of the world or something like that, so they don't affect me. So how does this affect small town South Dakota?
I guess it depends on the area, because we don't have a lot of black people around here.
Cooper?
Because they think that we're all like small town South Dakota, like Mountain Hicks or whatever. Black people don't like that because people are racist. So,
Are we?
I can't see the president.
I can't speak for anybody either. I'm always surprised when people go off to college and they come back on their first vacation and they are astounded at the number of different types of ethnicities and races that they meet on a college campus. Really? Interesting. This is a tough one. Racism is a tough one.